Greetings, fellow galactic doctors, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of a brand new Let's Play tutorial series covering Galacticare. If you would like to skip the game's overview or some details about this series, please use YouTube chapters, and that information can be found in the description of the video as well. Welcome everybody to a brand new stream of Galacticare. Galacticare is a game where you build, manage, and optimize an intergalactic hospital. You recruit staff from various alien species, each with their own strengths and weaknesses, while dealing with the wacky and ridiculous illnesses that get thrown your way. The stream will be a mix of tutorial and let's play, and for this specific stream I've reset all of my campaign progress, so we're starting fresh. Unlike my usual streams, I am going to elect for the whole no spoilers, no backseating. Partially it is because there's quite a bit of voice acting, meaning that it will be difficult to address questions in real time, unless I want to talk over the voice acting, which I don't want to do. And there is Twitch iteration, which automatically gives doctors subscriber names and patients viewer names. So let's get going, jumping into the first campaign map.
Greetings, Director. Let me be the first to congratulate you on your appointment. Ms. Orion and I are excited to see how you'll rise to the occasion. We're establishing our first facility right here in orbit around Earth. Ms. Orion is already on site. Let's get this thing kicked off, shall we?
So before I kick it off, in each chapter, you can see the hospital rating. So if you're continuing a game, or if you finished a chapter, you can see what rating you ended up with from 0 to 5 stars. And then there are rewards depending on how many stars you achieve per map, which are mostly just cosmetic awards. So although it is nice to get a 5-star rating, it doesn't truly help you in becoming a better manager. And then this here is the floor print of the facility that you're going to manage. So let's jump in. That was weird. I don't think that's supposed to pop up during the intro. Also, where's my cursor? Oh, there's my cursor.
I'm Heel, the AP assigned to all of Galacticare's extrasolar operations. Think of me as your personal assistant, for it is my duty to assist you in all things healthcare as we strike out amongst the stars. Soon, patients from all throughout the solar system will darken our halls, bringing with them all sorts of awful maladies and excretions. Medibots on standby, Director. Before then, Ms. Orion wishes to fire the starting gun personally. I'm sure we'll be receiving a call from her any moment now. Yeah, and there she is.
Incoming calls will wait indefinitely. Take your time and answer them when you're ready to continue. Some characters may react to waiting in unexpected ways.
The prompt at the bottom right of your user interface will answer her call. There's no rush. Contacts will wait for you to answer.
Bonjour, guten Tag, Moshi Director, and welcome to Galacticare. It's time to bring this dream of ours to life. I can't wait to see this hospital up and running. Personally, I'm not one for all this nitty-gritty management stuff. I'd much rather be in the lab, so that's why you're here. Remember, if you ever feel lost, you can review your objectives in the top right corner of your interface. Take it away, Heel!
Thank you, Mom. Director, let's start with a particularly fun section. Calibrating sensors and perspective. Yes, we'll be panning, rotating, and even zooming your camera. Both in and out, mind you. Thrilling stuff. Your objectives should be displayed now. If they're not, then everything is broken, and it may be simpler for you to resign.
Pan. Rotate. zoom in and zoom out.
Look at us go, spinning around like a gyro. I feel vaguely ill. Now, there was something else I was supposed to be doing. Oh, yes. Yes, the hospital. Patients and preventing death, profit, and so on. Very well, then. To do healthcare, we will require both a reception desk and a diagnosis room. Let's first place a reception desk so that we can process patients as they arrive. I've highlighted the menu in which you will find said desk.
So, when you have a layout like this, there are certain spots which will have designated areas for patient intake. And this is, on this map, it's only this spot here. On other maps, there will be different entrances to your hospital. And in order to limit the amount of travel that patients have to do to try to increase your throughput, one could assume that a reception desk closest to where the patients arrive kind of works well. So there we go. Reception desk is placed.
Wonderfully placed. Now all we need is a diagnosis room. Ms. Orion should be calling with the details momentarily.
The diagnosis room is our patient's first step on the road to recovery. It's where we evaluate what's gone wrong with their meaty bodies. Also, tiny spinny drones come out of it, which is very cool and entirely necessary.
All right. So talking a little bit about rooms. Most of the ways that you will treat patients, there are some exceptions, of course, will be inside of rooms. Every patient goes through diagnosis. You don't know what is truly wrong with them until they're diagnosed by a diagnostician. And when placing these rooms, there are some bonuses that you can obtain by designing them in certain ways. So I'm going to go over that. But a diagnosis room needs to be at least 3x3. There is a benefit to making rooms 3 tiles larger than they need to be for a spacious bonus. So a diagnosis room of 4x3 or 3x4 is going to offer a better experience for both your doctors and your patients. So I usually elect for making rooms slightly larger than they need to be. So let's place one down. So up here in the top left, we have the rooms, and I could do diagnosis. And let's go ahead and place a 3x4 diagnosis room right here, adjacent to reception, so that there's not a lot of travel. Now, this is where the left set of footsteps is where your doctor will stand, and the right set of footsteps is where your patient will stand. And you can set it up in such a way that they don't have to travel very far. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference, you know, a second or two here or there. But you wouldn't want to set it up like this, where the patient has to walk all the way to the back of the room to get diagnosed. And you can rotate things with R and T. And then the other thing is the readout panel. This can go on any wall, anywhere, doesn't really matter, as long as it's placed. Now at this point, as you can see, I have enough of the room built in order to satisfy its construction requirements. It's spacious because I added 3 additional tiles, but it will also benefit from unique decorations in the room as well. So there are different types of decorations that you can do. There are like medical cabinetry and things like that. There are med carts that you can place as well. There are floor decals and hazard signs and the like. So if I wanted like a little floor decal, I could put that in, or alternatively, I could hook up lights to it, you know, so like put a light there. If you mouse over to the next tab, there are posters that you can put on the wall, like this. And there's also carpets, although carpets will not interact with the floor tile research spot. So most of the time, you're not going to be able to get carpets into a room. Then the next tile is plants, if you want some plant life. And then there are curious decorations, which we will get into soon, but different species have different requirements. So for instance, the ode, which is one of the first species you interact with, prefer to have curious decorations around them. There's a plant species that want to have plants around them. There's a mollusk species that wants to have windows around them, so on and so forth. So each species will have their own subset of requirements. And then the last tab is windows. If you want to place windows. There, I can, let me hit confirm and show the walls. So this is what the room looks like. And if I click on it, you can see that it's spacious and it's well decorated. Both are very useful bonuses to have.
Yeah, that's the diagnosis room, ready? Now we'll need a treatment room. Ms. Orion will be in touch with the juicy details.
Skin! Everyone has it. Unless they have an exoskeleton, or nothing at all. The Skin Lab uses proprietary chemicals to coat our patients in a gentle foam, which strips off their outsides and rebuilds them from scratch. It's relatively painless. I use the Skin Lab instead of a shower sometimes.
So this room is a 3x4, would benefit from being like a 3x5 or a 4x4, depending on how you want to design it. And the patient goes into the tank, and the clinician goes to the mixing console. So we could do like a skin lab here, with a door maybe there, the patient tank, the mixing console, and then in order to get the well-decorated bonus, I will just put some things on the wall. Let's put a poster that looks like skin, and that's about right. And then maybe some like lovely peaceful posters so that they don't realize that their flesh is being melted off voluntarily. There we go.
Excellent. We have our first rooms. More to come, I'm sure. However, I think there's still something missing. As we're a healthcare organization, we will need some doctors. Pop open the recruitment menu on the left-hand bar and review your various candidates. And there they are, Director. You can see their name, species, and traits that are unique to them. We currently have Ode and human candidates, and are restricted to them for reasons which I can assure you are culturally sensitive. I'm certain you'll come to find the unique traits of the galaxy's different sapiens particularly helpful for your work. Choose a candidate when you're ready.
So, candidates can either be trainees, which haven't been specialized to a specific field of medicine, and when they level up, they will be given the option to specialize depending on the different roles they took in the hospital. So, for instance, if a trainee works at diagnosis and also skin lab, they will have the option to become a specialist in one of those two things. The level of your clinicians improve the quality of the medicine that your patients receive, which is one of the ways that you're rated. Additionally, there are some racial bonuses. So humans, for instance, have cultural curiosity, which increases the influence generated during treatment, meaning that if a human treats another human or a human treats an ode, they will get a little bit of more insight into their culture. Odes have inherited knowledge, so they generate more research and more eureka chance for insights into specific diseases. The humans, like I'm not a human, humans like to, is there a way to see the species here? I forget what screen that is, but they like when there is things are well decorated and there's food available, and the ode like the curious sort of decorations. I'm going to do my best to try to recruit doctors that have subscriber names, but then there's other fields. So there is their positive personality trait and their negative one. So Barrett Catapult, for instance, generates additional influence. So he's human, that generates influence, and also is diplomatic, which generates extra influence. So it would be really good for him to be in diagnostics, because being in diagnostics, you will get to meet everyone, because everyone kind of passes through your office. So I can either place him anywhere in the hospital, or I can click specifically at diagnosis, and it will sort of assign it to him. And then there's another step to take once he goes into it, and I can lock it. And what that means is he will always work there and nobody else will work there, which guarantees that he's the only one that staffs diagnosis. There's one issue with that, of course, if you don't have redundancies. If he goes on a break, which your staff occasionally goes on breaks, when he's on break, diagnosis shuts down. So it's a double-edged sword, but I quite like to lock people into specific workplaces. All right, and let's put someone in the skin lab as well. So go back to recruitment, and here's one. So here's another subscriber name. So they're owed, they have quick fingers, which means that treatment goes faster, but they embezzle a little bit of money while they work. That's fine. And we'll put them in the skin lab. And given that they're owed, I'm going to go to the curious decorations here. And I think what I'll do is I will delete the normal, ordinary decorations that I have put in there and replace them with curious ones, so that our owed doctor that works in this room is happier.
Excellent work. Your new staff will
And lock Alex into that.
set about their tasks in your rooms, aiding our soon-to-be patients. Doctors gain experience as they work, and more experienced doctors are, as you'd imagine, better at things. Due to capitalism, staff require payment on a regular basis, so do be sure not to overhire and inflate your expenses. An excellent set of rooms and doctors, Director, that will surely excel at treating patients. You should be commended for your ambition. Speaking of which, your legally mandated commendation, known in human society as payment, is yours to claim.
Okay. So here's a little mood indicator that Alex the Badger doesn't have enough curious decorations around, as odes desire curious decorations. And then Bear Catapult likewise doesn't have enough ordinary decorations. Essentially, I don't have a lot of decorations around, and they're upset. That's mostly because I just haven't really built up the hospital, and the tutorial hasn't gotten me to that point yet, but that's fine. So, the objective of hiring 2 doctors is complete, and I am being paid. So I'm gaining 200 human influence, craftium, which is a crafting material that the tutorial will get to soon, lomite, which is a cosmetics shop material, and then credits. Craftium and credits do not carry over from chapter to chapter, but human influence or influence for any species, and also lomite, does carry over. So spend your credits, spend your craftium, but you can save up on lomite.
We are ready to open the hospital. Let's see if we can't get our patients back to their rent pods in one piece.
Okay, before I open the hospital, I'm going to make some quick changes. So one, which is pretty simple, providing food and a bathroom. So I'm going to put food here, and you can see that there's a green sphere of influence, and that's sort of like the coverage that it covers. So one, I could put it in the middle of the map, but I'm choosing not to, because I am instead going to put some food and bathrooms over here as well. So I'm basically covering, 90% of this area. If I really wanted to min-max it, I could move this something like that for now, and that covers most of the initial spots. The other spots in this hospital are locked behind high purchase costs, which is why I'm not currently expending into them now, because they're locked. The other thing that patients and doctors want is seating. So there's fundamentally 2 types of seating. There's basic benches that doesn't get paired with flowers, and then there are like these flower benches, and I much prefer to use flower benches just because they're sort of straightforward and simple. And what I could do here is like set up 2 benches here so that we get a bunch of people that could sit, and then maybe set up some benches over here. And your patients are going to want, sort of seating, because standing in a hospital sucks. Put a garbage can so that there's a place for them to throw things out. Again, this has a sphere of influence as well when you place it down. So as you can see, I have good trash coverage. And then the other thing I could do is to decorate a little bit. Decorate a little bit more on the outside of the rooms, so that there's a little bit of some of the decoration malices go away. Okay. And you think we're maybe gonna be ready to open? There's a lot of other things I could do, but this is good for now.
Ready to begin?
So, would you like to open your hospital? Once opened, it cannot be closed again. Essentially, yeah, Pandora's box. Let's go.
And away we go. Time to treat some of these poor fellows. Patients are arriving now, Director. They shall scuttle about our hospital and deposit their various detritus within its once sterile halls.
The Ode are a curious bunch. Although they're all clones, they revere old age, competing with each other to see who can live in any one body the longest. Once they retired from their dreams of galactic empire, they developed an odd fascination with humanity. It began with crop circles and cow abductions, and ended up in appropriating the most problematic parts of 1950s Earth culture, surf rock, and traditional gender roles.
So, increased research generated for low research level conditions, increased Eureka chance for high research level conditions. They desire well-decorated rooms with at least 3 unique decoration objects per room, and they like curious decorations. And then you can see the lore in society and physiology, which doesn't play into actual game mechanics. Here's our first patient.
Dying.
So they walk in from outside. Different maps will have different ways for patients to approach, but this is sort of like a space ambulance. They check in at the reception desk, and then they pretty much are guaranteed to go to the diagnosis.
Humans, we love them. They are us, sometimes. Not always, though. Humans are a lot of things, and one of those things is that they're social beings. They'll improve our influence whenever they complete treatments. Also, they've accidentally engineered a dystopia where corporations have become kingdoms. So that's great. Sorry. That's a conversation for another time, I guess.
So, cultural curiosity. They generate influence during treatments. They like we like ordinary decorations, and the ability to have food and drink.
It appears we've received a patient with a shattered arm. Let's inspect them and see if we can't mend their appendage.
So, there we go. We have diagnosed Anubis Dark God with a shattered arm. And the treatment plan here is diagnosis, boning chamber, and dismissed, or rather, released. But I don't have a boning chamber, but the tutorial will tell me to do that soon.
Behold the patient panel. I've highlighted the condition track. This fellow's condition requires them to be reboned, and for that, we'll need a boning chamber.
The boning chamber, a retrofitted mining machine which chomps fresh, minty new skeletons directly into our patients. An assistant engineer fitted the schematic with internal cameras for personal reasons. That'll teach me to poach staff from Salazar. Anyway, that's all fixed, and it's mostly safe. Mostly.
Alright, let's go ahead and build a boning chamber. So it needs to be at least 4x4. So here's 4x4. But I'm going to make it spacious. And then I'm going to stick a door here and the boning chamber in there. For now, I am not going to add the unique decorations because I'm going to move some things around from out here. All right, now back to the decorations. So boning chambers. Let's give an anatomy poster and a skin poster. Got to figure out who I'm even going to hire for this. A fluffy toga. That works for me. They're efficient and careless. So fluffy toga gets to work in the boning chamber. And now that I know that it is a human and not an ode, I can build ordinary decorations in there, which humans appreciate more than ode.
Ah, the boning chamber. A fine room indeed. I do rather admire the machine in there. Rather charming, actually. I think I'll call him Harold. I haven't the foggiest idea why. You may find yourself running short on space in our initial hospital area. You can expand to other nearby areas by selecting them and paying a small fee. To whom, I'm not sure. Well, now that we've got a few treatment rooms up and running, let's talk about keeping our staff and patients happy. Let's inspect one of our doctors to grasp the full extent of their needs.
All right. So let's pick a doctor about their needs.
Hello! Through this panel, we can see the various qualities and needs that define our doctor. This is their mood. A happy doctor will perform their job efficiently, whereas an unhappy doctor is more likely to make mistakes. If their mood gets too low, they may simply leave. You can see the various thoughts and feelings impacting their mood here. For example, witnessing the death of a patient may result in a degree of momentary sadness. Physical needs, like hunger and energy, are fulfilled by vending machines, staff lounges, toilets, and so on. By the looks of things, this individual needs to unwind in a staff lounge.
This one's pretty straightforward. It's a staff lounge. Staff will go in there and lounge. There's a fire pit and everything. We considered a mindfulness cube, but people found the idea nightmarish. So they get this instead. I don't get it. I love the cube. I'll go in there sometimes just to scream at the walls. Great de-stressor.
A little bit of a RimWorld crossover, loving the cube and all. But, all right. My suggestion is to build your staff lounge as close to the middle of each section as possible, because the individual treatment rooms have a concern of whether there's a staff lounge nearby or not. And if you have staff lounges far, like if I built one here, this diagnostics room might not be close enough to the staff lounge to benefit from it. So the more central to each building area, the better. So let's go ahead and build one of those. And it's a 3x3 that I intend to make a 4x4. So I'm going to nuke that bench. It's fine. And we'll put the staff lounge entryway here. Each staff lounge require this like lava lampy thing. And then it's just about chairs, essentially. You can also add unique decorations to it. So I'm going to add a mix of both human and ode decorations. The game also does a pretty good job of like, hey, you're placing something that blocks pathing. As you can see with the red lights or the red overlay indicators. So you don't really have to worry about, oh man, if building here, like, will I block my my chairs? The game will make it very clear, hey, don't do that. Don't build there. Put some grass on the walls, because that seems like a kind of a reasonable thing to do. And some pictures. I will also, I'll put in some windows. So my patients can see all the lazy doctors as they lounge about. Maybe encouraging the doctors to get back to work. Let's also put some, there's not really anywhere to put this. So, no, I'm done.
To build a staff lounge, lest our employees descend into absolute madness. We should also ensure we provide both staff and patients with places to sit, something to eat, and toilets in which they may relieve themselves. The required facilities have been installed, and the number of organics who've relieved themselves in the hospital has slipped under the bar for legal concern. Bravo, Director. You have provided everything organics need for a state of mild comfort.
And here's my reward. Some more human influence.
Director, it's time to meet your marginally useful maintenance crew. This is a Medibot. They've been purchased at low cost and reprogrammed to maintain our equipment and clean up various forms of vomit. The robot is waving. Medi, are you waving? Are you waving your awful little hands? It appears that Medi wishes to speak to you. Not to worry, I doubt it has much to say.
Hello, new director. It's me, Medi. Heel says I'm a toaster, and that I might actually be useful if I was dropped in someone's bathtub.
Yes, that comment is slightly out of context, Director, but you may rest assured that Medi has no clue what's going on.
Well, I guess so. Also, Heel keeps saying I'm a fake boy, and being programmed to imitate humanity is a disgrace. He's my best friend.
Mary, you don't have any friends because you're not real.
Of course I do. 'Cause you're my friend. And so is this giant creature who's about to eat the station.
Bugger me! What in the world is going on?
Hello there!
I think it's okay, Heel. It's just a really big alien.
First of all, Mary, it's a colossal. Secondly, please refrain from use of the term alien in reference to non-human sapiens. Director, the alien is somehow hailing us, though not on any identifiable frequency. It's almost as though it's directly pushing buttons inside the station's systems. In the absence of any better ideas, perhaps it's best to, pick up the phone.
Electronic and eukaryotic persons of Galacticare. I am Bazanorosorgoria. Baz is also fine, in the interests of brevity. I developed these painful glowing spots about 4,000 years ago. I wondered if you could come and have a look at me.
Director, this is an opportunity we can't pass up. Colossals are notoriously elusive. Few even get to talk to them, let alone get all up in their biology. Let's help him out. First, you'll need to dispatch a ship from the shuttle bay to take a biopsy. That'll let us take a look at all the deliciously novel gubbins inside our new friend.
So whenever there's a colossal, and occasionally some other events, but mostly colossals, obviously they can't go through your hospital, so you have to dispatch shuttles to go treat them. And you do that by clicking this button right here.
Launch the shuttle when ready, Director.
Sometimes a problem is too big for the hospital and you'll need to dispatch a shuttle in order to deal with it in the vacuum of space. You can do this by clicking the icon above the shuttle bay. Howdy, Baz. How's it going?
And away she goes! Our shuttle will collect the sample from Baz via a gentle, non-invasive surgical translocation beam. It feels great. Like scratching an itch. Don't ask me how I know.
Ooh, that feels nice. A bit like scratching an old itch.
Told ya. The shuttle is back with the sample we just took. It'll now be unloaded from the shuttle in an adorable canister. AI-driven medical devices, which behave much like patients do, just with less, brains. We'll need to send it to diagnosis to figure out our next steps. Remember, you can always select the relevant task in the objective window for more information.
Director, we'll want that canister to make it through its diagnosis as quickly as possible. Fortunately, you can set it as a priority.
So
Hit
clicking
the
a
priority
canister,
button here to make sure the canister is seen to as quickly as possible.
so the diagnosis material to diagnose Baz is in this canister, and there's actually two different ways to prioritize. The easiest one is to actually just click this priority here. The alternative is to click on your diagnosis room and say, hey, the priority for this diagnosis room is canisters. And that way, if there's any canisters ever, they essentially cut the line and go in front so that they can be seen to. So both ways work pretty well, but I'm going to remove canisters from the diagnosis priority.
Prioritizing a patient or canister in this manner will place it at the front of any queue it joins. You should use this for, anything you like, really, but emergencies in particular.
Alright, I'm also going to decide to make another diagnostics room. So one way to figure out your throughput is to click on the room overview. And actually, surprisingly enough, the diagnosis is not the bottleneck. There's only 3 patients in queue there, whereas there's 4 for the skin lab and 4 for the boning chamber. You can also see what kind of conditions that you have. Most people are coming through with shattered arms, which is going to have them go through the boning chamber. But there are cranial fractures, which is also boning chamber, aroma borealis, star warts, regolithic, and then this is the canister that we took off Baz, and space invasion. So for now, maybe I want to actually expand the hospital. I'll just let the tutorial play out. So here's the canister being prioritized to diagnosis ahead of everyone else. Cutting the line because the dude's big.
Baz's skin is remarkable. I've already identified 7 brand new proteins. This will redefine our understanding of what meat can be. Despite his freaky space flesh, I don't see why we couldn't fix him up with a new cocktail from our skin lab. Now it's time for those canisters to go in the other direction. Let's fill some up, load them into a shuttle, and hose down our new friend with a pharmaceutical cocktail strong enough to melt turbo steel beams.
So, in order to treat Baz, there are 4 canisters that need to go through the skin lab. So actually, this would be a good time to build another skin lab and hire another doctor to manage it. So let's go do that. I have plenty of money. And I think what I'll do is I'll try to use this like back area. If you, while you're building, if you right click, it's removing tiles, which is useful if you want to change from adding to removing. And put the door in here. Patients go in maybe here, and doctors, as you can see, this is a bit of a Jenga, but doctors could be nested back there, that's fine. Confirm. And then I also want to figure out what doctor's going to go in there before I decorate it. So we have this doctor who can treat faster. That'd be nice for bottlenecks. We have a sociopath, a glutton, an embezzler, 2 people that are stupid, and 1 that is careless. I'm going to go with the fast learner who is also a little careless. Careless just means like they damage the damage the room that they're working in, but that's fine. We can always repair it. So here we go. A new doctor. Locked. And then with that new doctor, that gives me an idea of how to decorate. It's going to be a little restrictive due to the weird floor print of this specific room, but that's fine. I'll even give you a window so that people can watch other people melt. You know, privacy, what's that? We don't need privacy. Put some beautiful little flowers here. And what else can we put in there? Maybe oh, locker doesn't fit because of zoning issues. And maybe it'll fit over here. Yep, there it goes. Locker. Perfect. Thank you for tuning in to Galacticare, which originally streamed live on Twitch May 28th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind I've asked for no spoilers or backseating. If you would like to join a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. So thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow doctors.